Hi everyone, it's Becky Fruin here, speech and language therapist, here with part three of our Speech Bite series, in conjunction with the Reach Out Early Years Stronger Practice Hub. Um, in these Speech Bite sessions, I'm giving you 5 quick minutes of language tips that you can just access while you're having a quick cup of tea, during your break or when you've got a spare 5 minutes, which I know is quite a precious thing. Today, in part three of Speech Bites, we will be thinking about less questions, more comments, and how that can improve confidence in communication with the little people we look after in our settings. So, what is so bad about questions? Questions are actually fine. Questions are useful as long as we're not asking too many of them. So, for children with speech, language, and communication needs, questions can feel often like they're being tested or asked to perform. And I see this a lot with parents who are concerned about their children's speech and language. Very often, if the child is able to do a few colours or a few numbers, it will be, tell Becky what colour this is. What colour is this? Do you know what colour this is? How many are there? Lots and lots of times over. And once or twice is fine, but with too many of these, what we see with our children with speech, language, and communication needs is a reduction in confidence, stress, communication, as I've said, feeling like just a series of mini tests or being asked to perform. And with that comes withdrawal and also less willingness to try. So it's something that we really need to avoid with all of the children that we look after, but particularly those ones where we do have a concern about their speech, language, and communication. So what we need to be doing is replacing as many questions as we can with comments. And it's actually not that hard once you get your head around it and kind of get into the habit of doing it. So I've got a couple of real life situations here and ideas of what you can change. So, for example, if the child is playing in the sand pit or the sand tray, instead of saying, what are you making? What are you using for digging? So, asking for that label of the spade. What does it feel like? Who are you playing with? Do you like the sand? That kind of almost mini interrogation to a child. Trying to flip those into comments. Wow, great digging. What a lovely yellow spade. Because then you're actually giving the child not only the label of the spade, but also you're giving them a supplementary colour and a supplementary adjective. This sand is soft. I can see your friends digging too. Digging is so much fun. So we've got lots and lots of lovely language going in, which the child can absorb in a really relaxed way without feeling that they have to do anything. Again, if you're painting, instead of lots of questions, so what are you painting? What colour is this? What are you going to do next? Lots of lovely language going in. I can see your painting. You are using blue. This is so colourful. Put your paintbrush in the water. This paint is so messy. So you can see there we've covered some lovely adjectives such as messy and colourful. We can talk about colours. We can talk about what the child is doing, putting their paintbrush in the water. Again, all in a lovely, relaxed way that makes the child feel calm and not like they're having to perform, so they are more likely to engage, more likely to put themselves out there and try and communicate with you with the speech and language that they've got. So I'd like to leave you with a little challenge for the next time you are working with a child or children. Pick an activity that you do this week and note down or kind of mentally count up how many times you ask questions. And then when you revisit that task, next time try and replace half of the questions with comments and observe, are the children or the child that you're working with, are they more chatty? Are they more engaged? And it might surprise you how much they are. So hopefully you've found that useful as a very quick flip through thinking about one way that we can improve children's confidence in their communication. Once again, I always like to point you to the EEF Early Years Evidence Store, which is an online resource which has all of the current evidence around many of the aspects of the early years foundation stage. Again, as I always say, if you're a new practitioner, this is a wealth of information for you as you get going in your career into early years. And if you're a more established clinician or practitioner, we always know that things can change and things can change quite significantly over time. So if you want to make sure that what you're doing is currently evidence-based rather than sort of just the way I've always done it, do go and check out the Early Years Evidence Store to find out all the information you need. I hope you can join me again in the next of our Speech Bites series. Take care. See you soon.